AITAH for not wanting to live in a Muslim neighborhood? My husband's father passed away in January. The house was left to him as his mother passed away several years ago, and he is an only child. My husband and I have been renting since we've been married and have been looking for a home the last couple of years. My husband wants to move in where his parents lived as it was his childhood home. I, however, do not want to live there as it is in Dearborn, Michigan. For those of you that don't know, Dearborn has one of the largest Muslim populations in North America. It is not an environment I would be comfortable living in, and am surprised it is for him as someone who denounced his Muslim faith when he moved out of his parents' home. The vast majority of the businesses there have their signs in Arabic. Almost all the women in that area wear hijabs, and there is a very large amount of religious fundamentalists living there. Not to mention the home is around a 5-minute walk from a mosque. I am very anti-religion and wouldn't want to live in a heavily Mormon area either. I've told my husband this, and he is accusing me of being bigoted. I said I am not, and just because I don't want our 2-year-old son growing up in that environment, it does not make me bigoted. Not to mention the Muslim community there is very insulated, and I would feel like an outsider living there as well would my son. My husband says he was fine there growing up, yet I pointed out the fact that he left as soon as he could and faced severe backlash from his family when he renounced his faith. I told him I won't be living in that home, and I couldn't be convinced to. He says he refuses to sell the house he grew up in, especially since my reasoning is for not wanting to live in a Muslim-dominated area. The house is worth a decent amount of money, and selling it would give us the opportunity to live in an area we both like. He says he's hurt and very disappointed in me, and I frankly think I have every right to not want to live or raise children in that area. Am I being an asshole for wanting to live in an area with people who are culturally and ethically similar to me? I really don't believe in being bigoted or racist, considering my husband is Lebanese and I married into a family with many Muslims. First comment. As a Muslim-born agnostic with family in that area, I would say definitely NTA. I myself am very uncomfortable there, and I am the right race. If you are white and non-Muslim, you would feel very out of place and might even attract unwanted attention, i.e., seen as an intruder. Women going out without hijab is seen as disrespectful to your husband, as well as to the men that have to look at you. It is seen as even more disrespectful if you are physically attractive. On that note, I would not be so sure your husband won't fall back into his culture's ways once he's back in the old neighborhood. I have seen it before. Many secular Muslim men are fine in egalitarian societies, even marrying non-Muslims, but as soon as they are around other Muslims, they expect their women to mask in order to avoid any conflict. It is difficult to tell a large group of elders from your own culture they are wrong. It is much easier to instead tell your wife she needs to wear a hijab when she goes out just to fit in and avoid embarrassing you. Do you know for sure your husband will choose the former instead of the second comment? Hey, maybe neighbor. I also inherited a house in Dearborn, and I'm living in it. You're making it sound like you'd essentially be living in the Middle East and ... I've lived here for 5 years and am whiter than white. Here's a snapshot of life here for those who aren't from the area. Yes, there are a lot of Arab businesses. There are also a lot of non-Arab businesses. I went to a hookah bar once, but otherwise I can't think of any Arabic businesses I've patronized, and it's not as if I'm actively avoiding them. And the vast majority do not have their signs in Arabic. A good few have both languages, true, but not the majority. There are mosques, yes, and churches, and synagogues. They just kind of exist. They don't do anything. They're just buildings. And it isn't like they're on every street corner. A lot of women wear hijabs. A lot don't. 100% of them don't care that I don't. I can go for a walk in shorts and a tank top and have a nice conversation with a Muslim couple walking a cute dog, and no one cares what the other is wearing. I'm sure there are some fundamentalists living here, statistically speaking, but it's not a very large amount. Generally speaking, people are very American. A Muslim family moved in across the street from me last year. She wears a hijab, but they also had a huge Christmas tree in their living room. I tend to take long walks through different neighborhoods and see a lot of that. In short, you can live in Dearborn and be perfectly comfortable living your atheist white bread life. No one is shoving their religion in your face. No one is trying to make you uncomfortable. No one is unwelcoming because you're the local minority. And it's a great location too. Nice area with good property values that are still reasonable, unlike cities north of the city. Downtown Detroit is 15 minutes away, so you have sports and shows and concerts and museums at hand while still living in the suburbs. And the reason I decided to stay here while I figure out my next career move, it's a reasonable commute from the majority of major business hubs: Detroit, Southfield, Troy, Ann Arbor. I'm not madly in love with the place or anything and plan on moving soon for a variety of reasons, but it's really a perfectly nice place to live. Third comment, I live in the area. Your husband is Lebanese. Let me tell you about the Lebanese in Dearborn. They think they are the aristocracy amongst the Middle Eastern people because their country or origin has higher income and higher education. A 5-minute walk to a mosque means nothing in informing where the home is. Dearborn has about 3 or 4 specific areas. A lot of abandoned churches are now mosques, even in mostly white-black neighborhoods. We have very rich areas and very poor areas. Not all Muslims are Arabic. My one neighbor was from Turkey, and my daughter's friend's family is from Afghanistan and another from Pakistan. Other than that, it is no different than any other city. You have good people and bad people. Not every Muslim woman wears a hijab. I'd say it is 50/50, but that's from what I see, and not from empirical data. They get days off for Christian holidays and days off for Muslim holidays. People pretty much just respect each other's beliefs. For the most part, the kids are raised like I was. Outside a lot. Very family-oriented. The schools are very good. A lot of kids get into Ivy League schools every year. Dads and moms outside at the park with the kids, often just the dad with the kids ... boys and girls. Family barbecues. It kind of made me miss my childhood when I would drive my daughter to her friend's house in the East End, people out and about visiting. They will give you good food and always willing to help if you need a hand. As with any group of people living in a specific area, you have the oldies that are more American and the newbies holding on to their heritage. And just like the Christians, the lower educated ones are more conservative. Heck, they even show up at the school board meetings all on board for banning books. When the evangelicals used to spew all their hate against Muslims, I used to tell them that they have a lot in common with the conservative Muslims. Heck, the one strip club serves halal chicken. Just like with any city, it all depends on the neighborhood you live in. Edited to add, just picked up my daughter and discussed your post. She said if your husband's family is Lebanese, you will probably be living in the rich area. Also about the hijab. She said that a lot of girls who wore the hijab in middle school took it off in high school, and some who didn't wear it in middle school decided to wear it in high school. It's a personal decision. And I am white and Christian Catholic. Fourth comment, AITAH, the signs in Arabic. How the women wear hijabs, some women wear it because they want to, not because the men make them wear them. How close the mosque is. For somebody who claims to not be a bigot, you clearly make a lot of statements that contradict what you're saying. Being anti-religion is one thing, but refusing to step out of your comfort zone and not even trying to know these people, that just shows there's more to this. You say you married a Lebanese man and into a Muslim family, but that doesn't mean you're not a bigot, because bigotry has different levels and layers. You might not be a MAGA type of bigot, just a soft bigot. But a bigot is still a bigot. Now, when it comes to when you live, both of you have to agree. So this decision requires more than one yes, as long as the decision isn't made based on stereotypes. And yes, I've read about how your husband's parents reacted to when he denounced his religion. But that doesn't mean everybody there is the same. People change. There are.